we're gonna find the equation of the line and write it in slope-intercept form. That is the name of this equation. And b is gonna be the y-intercept, and m is gonna be the slope. And that's what we need to find. Okay, we need to find the y-intercept and then the slope. So the y-intercept, I'm gonna write b, and the way how you find it is by looking at the line, and you see what this line is intersecting the y-axis. That happens at this point right there, and that should be +1. Okay, so then the slope, to find the slope we need 2 points. Okay, so for this I can use the this point right here, which is the y-intercept. Another point that I can use should be this one. Okay, the reason why I'm using this point is because I know what the x and the y coordinates are. That's how you pick the points if you don't see them. So you must make sure that you know exactly what the x coordinate is and also the y coordinate. You shouldn't pick points like this. The reason is you are not sure about what the value of the y coordinate will be. It will be 2.3, 2.4. So we don't know. That's why whenever you pick points and you don't see the points, that's how you're going to pick the points. Okay. Now, to get the slope, we're going to be using rise over the run. Okay. So the rise, let me write it here. The slope should be rise over the run. Whenever you move up to get to the point, the slope is going to be positive. Whenever you move down to get to the point, the slope is going to be negative. And for the run, you always going to be moving to the right. So on this case, you always start with the point that is on the left side. Okay. And you're moving to the right side. You see how we're moving down to get to that point? Well, the way how you're going to move, the right, you can only move either up or down. On this case, moving down, and all what you do is count the units. How many units are you moving down to get to the point? On this case, if we count the units starting here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 units. So this number 3 is going to be the rise. And because you're moving down, remember, it's going to be -3. Now, to get to the point, now count the units starting here. How many units are we moving to the right? Well, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 units. This number 4 is going to be the run. Okay. So then the slope should be rise over the run. So that is going to make it -3/4. The proper way for us to write the fraction is rewriting negative divided by a positive. That should be -3/4. Okay. Now we have the slope, and then we have the y-intercept. And all what we're gonna do now is replace the values into that equation. Okay. So the answer for this, that should be y equals, the slope is just gonna be the number. So that should be -3/4. Then according to this equation, it's gonna be times x. And then b could be either positive or negative. In this case, I didn't have to write the plus sign, but because I'm gonna write it now into that equation, now I need to write the sign. So the answer should be +1. And this is how we gonna write the equation of this line in the form y equals mx plus b, which is the slope-intercept form. That's the name of that equation. Okay, so that is one example. I'm gonna do another one. Okay, so let me start all over. Okay, so that's one. So let's do another one. Okay, let me just change this one. And then let me put this other one right here. But now I'm gonna do a positive. Okay, something like this. Okay, ready? What I'm gonna do now is I need to find the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept is where this line intersects the y-axis. And that happens here at this point, right there. And that number should be -1. Okay, that would be -1. It goes by 1 unit. Okay, and then the next step, that would be -1. The next step, I need to find the slope. One more time, the slope should be rise over the run. And when you move up one more time to get to the point, the slope is gonna be positive. If you move down to get to the point, the slope is gonna be negative. And the run, you always gonna be moving to the right. Okay. So now out of this, I need 2 points. So right here, that's the point. That's the other point that I can use. Okay. Now what I need to do is move from one point to the next. Remember, the rise, you can only move up or down, and you're gonna count the units. So on this case, what I wanna do is I wanna start by moving up. Okay, moving up, and you can see it should be only 1 unit. So this number 1 should be the rise, and you're moving up, right? So it's gonna be +1. And the next step, count the units. How many units we have to move to the right to get to the point? And I count 3 units. Okay, so this number 3 is the run. You can only move to the right. So this will be the run. The slope, rise, that would be +1 over the run, that would be 3. Okay, and the next step, now that I have the y-intercept and I have the slope, what I need to do now is replace these numbers into that equation, right? So I'm gonna write y equals, the slope is just this number. That should be 1/3. Then if we look back at this equation, it says x, this is multiplication by the way, 1/3 times x, and then plus b. B is gonna be either positive or negative. On this case, the sign now we can see it's gonna be -1. And that's how we get the equation of this line.